Here's what I want to do. I want to ask you to tell me about the time when you first made, the very first time you made biscuits. Tell me that story again. So I want to get it on tape for future. But
Well, when I made them the first time, I was 11 years old, and Mama had had a baby.
mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I knew that. Well, I hadn't had. Well, the first time I made them, she hadn't had that baby. She was showing me how, and I went in to make those biscuits, and boy, I got disgusted. I just couldn't handle it, and I quit. And so she said, "Well, you're gonna have to make some biscuits." So I thought about it. So I thought to myself, well, I believe I can do it anyway, you know, after I had tried and got my hands all mixed up in it and I didn't like it and I quit. She had all that throw away and start again, you know. But anyway, after that baby was born, Daddy told them, the rest of the children said, now, Lucille's going to have to make biscuits. And don't any of you criticize them or say anything about them, because she's going to do the best she can. Well, I made those biscuits, and I just rolled them too long, and they were hard, you know. They even cracked open. So, when we went to the table that night to eat, and some of the boys, Carla and some of them laughed, you know. And Carla said, to Pete, said, have we got old cat we'd let her kill? Meant they could throw the biscuit at it and kill it, you know. It was so hard. And Daddy said, all right now, boys, you know what I told you. They didn't say no more about it. And I made biscuits several times before Mama got able. And then is when I learned how. And I was 11 years old. Been making them ever since.
Can you tell me, just off the top of your head, how to make them? Like the recipe, what's in them,
well,
how you do it?
I was thinking about yesterday when I was making those biscuits. I reached in that, I took my pan and I reached in that bag and I got 3 handfuls of flour like this, you know, and put it in the pan. And I thought, well, that'll make enough, as many biscuits as they would want at the time, you know, probably. And then I took me a glass of this high milk out. And then I took my lard, Smithfield lard's what I use. And what's that? You can use mayonnaise. I used to make them, and I should be eating them right on. Mayonnaise and just a little, about a tablespoonful of oil and mayonnaise. And they're not got as much fat in them, you know. And then I took about that lard, I guess I could have held it like this in my hand that I put in the biscuit. And then I started pouring a little milk in it. Made me a little hole, you know, and put the lard in the center. And then poured a little milk and began to mash it up, the lard and the flour with it, and mixed it all up. And it kept pouring a little milk and kept mixing until I had, I would say, half of or a little more of the flour mixed in, you know. And then I made it drier by putting in drier flour, you know, rolled it around, made me a little ball about that big. And then I kneaded it, you know what I'm talking about? Rolled it, kneaded it, and got it to about the consistency that I thought it ought to be, you know. And then I took my little piece of that lard and I smeared it all over the pan, just a little all over it, you know. And then I pinched off my little biscuits and rolled them around like this. That's the way I do mine. Then laid them in there and then patted them out. And then I had a little milk left. And I just stick my hand in there and pour a little on my hand and just put a little on the top of them. And let them sit a few minutes. And then while the oven was heating, I let them sit there a few minutes. And they began to rise a little bit. The milk gets all in there, you know, wet some good. And then I put it on 450 degrees. And what I do, I just put them in there and let them stay about 10 minutes. And then I start looking to see when they get as brown as I want them. And whenever they do, then I take them out. It takes, I would say, probably 30 minutes to cook them.
And you use buttermilk instead of
Buttermilk. Mm-hmm. They rise better, and they're spongier than sweet milk.
When you measure out that milk, you just know. You have a glass that you kind of use.
I know about, it's that little glass you drank water out of last night, that size, about like this, that I poured the milk in. I'm 77. How many years I make biscuits? About 60. More than about 66 years. I've made them, let's see all the biscuits I've ever made. I bet this house wouldn't hold them.
Well, see, the good thing about that is, since you make them, we eat them faster than you make them, so it just means we get a bunch of people over here and then we take care of them.
Now, I imagine every biscuit I've ever made's been eaten. I don't feel like many of them has been thrown away.